So the second book, The Glucose Revolution, the life-changing power of balancing your blood sugar. So after Outlive, we started Zoe, which was the insulin patches, to see how we're reacting, how our blood sugar's reacting to certain foods, different foods. And the main reason of that was to get personalised food scores. It wasn't just our blood sugar, it was our blood fat. And the personalised food scores helped us to choose our foods. What this does is very similar to the Zoe approach, and they do mention Zoe here as well, because what this lady did was actually start measuring her glucose reactions to different foods at different times of the day in different orders. And so this is kind of Zoe going into slightly more focus on real specifics in terms of flattening your curves and different ways you can do that, because it does differ for everyone. There are loads and loads of examples in here of which foods cause the spikes, which order cause different spikes. So if you're eating, they recommend to eat fibre, then your protein and your fats, and then your carbs. So the order in which you can eat your foods can make a big difference to flattening your curves. So it looks at what is glucose, goes on to look at why are glucose spikes harmful, and then how to flatten the curves. And then it goes into some recipes at the back, some great recipes, quite a few actually, breakfast, lunch and dinner. How to flatten the curves is a quite interesting one. They're kind of called hacks. I'll just read through those. There's 10 main hacks that they go into in quite a bit of detail. I'll read the headers. Eat foods in the right order. So that's what I was mentioning: fibre, protein and fats, and then carbs. Add a green starter to all your meals. So that would be a salad maybe, or green soup. Stop counting calories. Very interesting, because they go into details where you can eat the same amount of calories in a different order, which can affect your weight gain loss. Flatten your breakfast curve. Now there's lots to talk about the typical breakfast in the West of orange juice and cereal and toast and marmalade, for example, which they really say is completely bad because it's just sugar, sugar, sugar. They recommend savoury breakfast, so try and almost make your breakfast like a lunch. So that might mean eggs or spinach, or nuts, bit of yogurt, dairy, whatever your lifestyle choices are. Try and make it a bit more savoury, a bit more protein, a bit more fat, rather than just carbs with sugar, sugar, sugar. Have any type of sugar you like, they're all the same. So this is this myth that honey is better for you than white sugar. Sugar is sugar. There may be some benefits to eating a raw honeycomb in the jungle if you find it somewhere, like some people do, but there's a lot more benefits to that than eating honey out of a jar, because a lot of honey you find is actually very highly processed as well, as a lot of the bees. A lot of it's very commercial, industrial. Bees are just fed on sugar syrup rather than being natural. Pick dessert over a sweet snack. So this was one big, probably one of the main things I got from this book. I was a big fan of afternoon tea and cake or biscuits, where I'd have had my lunch, let's say at 12:30, 3:30 comes around, I'm looking for my cake, and I just think, that's fine. I'll go for a run, or I'm not necessarily overweight, but this is saying don't do that, because you'll just have another spike and then a bigger crash. So if you're going to have the cake or something sweet, have it as dessert, so have it after your main meal rather than as a separate meal by itself. Reach for the vinegar before you eat. This is a little hack. If you, I don't think it's recommending it for all meals, but if you are in a situation where you know you're going to have something and you might have a spike, saying a little bit of vinegar, whichever one it is, I think apple cider, or anyway, dilute it in a big glass of water and drink through a straw, so you're not getting all the vinegar on your teeth. Can help flatten your curve. If you have to snack, try and go savoury. So again, that's a bit self-explanatory. Hack number 8, after you eat, move. So if you have your lunch or your snack or whatever, if you can, go for a walk. 20-minute brisk walk, doesn't have to be a run, or do some squats or something accessible to where you are, so that you're using the sugar rather than allowing it to go into storage. And put some clothes on your carbs. So that means if you're going to have some bread, put some butter on it, or some oil, or some nut butter. So put some clothes on your carbs. So that's a few of the hacks. That's probably enough on the book. Very good book, very enlightening, and great to give you some just some more options in how to structure your food and your diet and your day to flatten those curves. Okay, they're all here at WKD Yoga in our library if you do attend here, so I've read them, so feel free to come and borrow them at any time.